I'm your host, Kelly Morgan, indie author and indie publisher. Welcome to another episode of The Author's Mic. Welcome to today's episode. Hey everybody, Kelly here, indie author, indie publisher, and it's Monday, which means I have another guest for the author's mic. Today I want to present RC Hand. Me and RC have spoke before back in the day when I did my other podcast. Author of 10, would you say 11 or 12 books on Amazon. Just got back from a trip, just got some more books up there. RC, thank you for being a part of the author's mic.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
So tell me, what have you been up to since the last time we actually connected? I know that you've got some books out there and you've been traveling. And then so tell everybody kind of like what types of book you write and what you've been doing.
I write historical fiction and detective novels for the most part. I grew up in a very interesting family environment, so a lot of my friends were criminals and went off to the hoosegow every now and then. And so I was very fortunate to live in a very spicy, interesting neighborhood. And I bring those kind of stories into my books. My wife and I have traveled to 106 countries, including North Korea. We're just back from Jordan, Egypt, Rwanda, and Central America. And I have three new books on Amazon, and I'm working on two or three right now.
So do the books, when you travel like that, do some of the books take places in the places that you've traveled?
The book I'm working on right now, which I'm actually writing on my website that everyone can read for free, is called Joe in Africa. And that is going to be taking place on my tour through Rwanda and the large Ngurungango volcano, where we went up to see the lions and all the animals. And we went to see the gorillas in Rwanda. So this book called Joe in Africa will be actually taking place on that trip and then continuing on when they get back to New York City.
And the book is fiction?
Yes, it's a crazy story of lost loves and canceled weddings and so forth.
RC, you've got 11, 12 books out there. Are they all self-published?
Yes, I work really hard on my website. I have a pretty good traffic to my website. I'm on LinkedIn and I've worked really hard at connecting with a lot of people. But sadly, there are a lot of people in my same circumstance who are all out there jockeying for position. Luckily, I am retired and don't do this for an income. If I did, I'd be sleeping in a dumpster somewhere.
Yeah, like the rest of us. It's a lot of work. So, that first book, like what was that spark to even have you go and publish that very first book? And when did you publish it?
Wow. Interestingly, I'm working on it right now. I'm reading through it. I published it about 12 years ago. I had read Ken Follett's books about the medieval building the medieval castle or medieval church. And it really got me thinking. I think I was born in the wrong time frame. I think I should have been born around 1750 or so. I find those times very interesting to me. My first two novels are English adventure romance novels that take place in that time frame.
Very cool. And so every book you have self-published. So I would imagine that each time you have published a book, you have learned something new about publishing a book.
Yes, first of all, I know my tech skills are terrible. And I have two very helpful people in my life that are very tech savvy. So they've neighbors and a friend of mine from tennis. So he's very helpful, and I actually do some things on my own and have learned to do a few things. So you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
And so if you were going to talk to somebody who thought, okay, you've got 12 books out there, I've got no books out there, but I want to do a book, what piece of advice can you give me to help me get my book out there?
Grab a pencil and some paper and sit down and write it. We all
Yeah,
have stories to tell, and if we're afraid to tell those stories, the book's not going to get written. You have to sit down and do the work. Just make a habit of it.
absolutely. I talked to a lot of authors and everybody always talks about, the writing the book was hard and I got the book out there, but I always thought the hardest part of being an indie publisher or indie author is the marketing of the book,
Absolutely.
getting the book into the right hands. So you having 12 books out there, what marketing techniques have you used to help promote those books?
I've used uh, Amazon. I've used I bought up a geographic territory and sent out blasts. Like, I can go on Google and buy a Google ad in Los Angeles in a 45 mile radius within Los Angeles. I'm lucky to live in that area and got some traffic to my website, but not many sales. So I have a young woman who, in fact, we have a meeting planned the next few days. We're going to go on to some of these other platforms that I've come across, but really don't understand what they do, and try and go on those and see what kind of results we get. And I am willing to pay money. It's not a problem. I'm on TikTok. I've done some stuff on TikTok. I get a lot of hits on my travel photos on TikTok, and I slide in a few little commercials about my website now and then. So that's a kind of a free way to get your name out there. And if you get on TikTok and people like your pictures, they want to connect, and I give them my information for my website and grow my website that way, the traffic. And I hand out business cards everywhere I go. I travel the world. In fact, we just came back from a road trip. My wife and I, we went from St. Louis to the Twin Cities on a cruise up the Mississippi, took a train from the Twin Cities to Chicago, spent 3 days in Chicago and drove home. Took 15 days to drive home from Chicago to Santa Monica. And I handed out my business card everywhere.
Nice. That
And
is
I,
smart. That
and
is
I
smart.
see
And
I
go ahead.
see the results uh, when I was in Uzbekistan. When I got home, I could see people coming to my website from Uzbekistan who I gave my business cards to.
Nice.
So always have business cards.
And I don't think a lot of authors even think about having business cards. So yes, definitely, that's a good tip right there to have a business card as an indie author with your socials or whatever. TikTok is good. And then you're right, there's a lot of author-based platforms out there that I just started diving into, like Goodreads and BookBub and Book Sirens, and there's a couple other ones out there that are just author-based that I've started diving into as well that I think can be beneficial. I need to learn about them. So as I learn about them, I create a video and put it out on the author's mic. I just did one on Goodreads because there was a lot about Goodreads I didn't know. And then
Hmm.
I did another one on BookBubs as well, because that's another big one that I did not know about. I also found out that Goodreads is purchased by Amazon, which I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm on Goodreads, and I don't know about you, but for myself, I find that I can always make improvements on my books, and I
Hmm.
tend to go back and reread them and find things that are could be done better, and I end up redoing those things. So some of those babies remain in diapers for a long, long time, even though they're up on Amazon. They're never free from my view.
That is cool. So, RC, if people wanted to check out the books and check out some of your work, what's the best way for them to reach you?
My website with the first chapters of my novels and my travel blog is cowboyproductions52.com. I'm on TikTok at rchand22252. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at rchand.
And I just thought of something with the pictures that somebody else told me because you do so much traveling, another great place for you is Substack.
Yeah, see, I've read about that and heard about it. I don't know anything about it yet, so I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yep. You know what? I'm actually just got on there. I was actually on there today before we got together. And I don't know a lot about it either, but a lot of people seem to use it. And it seems to be a really great tool if you've got a blog or a newsletter, or if you do email. Substack seems to be a way that people can grow their platform. So, check it out. I've heard good things, but I haven't really dived into it myself, but I am
Oh,
going to.
I'm gonna do that.
RC, thank you so much for being on the author's mic. I appreciate you for coming back around the second time. It seems like you're always writing books, always traveling. So feel free to come back and share with us what you've got going on anytime.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're very welcome.